expecting their first baby, so Pedro tried to really turn his life around for Maria and his future child. He was still committing some crimes, like he was stealing, but it was more like Robin Hood, like Robin from Bad Guys. He turned his life away from organized crimes, but he still definitely had a lot of enemies. One day, Pedro came home and he found Maria, who was 7 months pregnant, murdered on the floor, and then on the wall written in her blood was, "We will get you." Pedro spent months trying to track down the man that killed Maria. Once he found out who that man was, turns out that man's brother was going to be getting married soon. So Pedro and some of his buddies crashed that wedding, shooting every man there, sparing only the women and children. This made Pedro a legend. His reputation went far and wide, and from then on, Pedro was known as Padrino Matador. Everyone knew about the guy that massacred an entire wedding to avenge the love of his life and unborn child. After this, Pedro was definitely living it up like legend style. He got in a throuple with a pair of hot twins. He got "I kill for pleasure" tattooed. He was legit like living like a mob boss and was allegedly killing every single day, but of course, only bad guys. It was only people that Pedro thought deserved to die. If you hurt a woman or a child, if you stole from the elderly or from the poor, Pedro was going to kill you. And honestly, it wasn't that long until Pedro was arrested and sent to prison. But because Pedro killed other criminals and like bad guys, now that he was in prison, he was just surrounded by potential victims. Pedro was just in prison killing all the terrible people that he thought were not worthy of life. He was the judge, jury, and executioner. Scorned people would write Pedro letters in prison asking him to kill specific people that had wronged them or, took their loved one from them. They would even offer Pedro money, but he would only do it for free. Pedro actually claims that he killed up to 16 people in one day once while in prison. Pedro's confirmed number of victims is 71, I believe, but it's believed to be much, much higher. And then one day, Pedro was brought into the prison warden's office where he was told that his mother had been brutally attacked and murdered. She had been stabbed 21 times by Pedro's own father. And that his dad, who has just murdered his mom, stabbed her 21 times, was going to be coming to that exact same prison. And when his dad did arrive, Pedro killed him. He stabbed him 22 times, one more than his mom got. Despite being convicted of 71 murders and being sentenced to over 400 years in prison, Pedro was released in 2007 after serving only 31 years. And after being released from prison for the last time, Pedro completely turned his life around. He bought himself a pink cottage, was working on a farm, going to church, and was done with killing. And then, believe it or not, Pedro became an influencer. He became a social media star. He would post on YouTube, he would talk about his life, his crimes, he would do cooking videos, and even wrote a book.